2 days of traveling over rough backcountry African roads deep into Ebola territory, I finally made it to Hope Clinic here in Guinea, West Africa. My name is Samo, and together I hope we can find out the story of what's happening here at the clinic.
I heard that my sister's son died 15 minutes after the injection. So it made me cry, and I tell John, I said, I think we should build something like a small clinic that one person can come at least to be there to be doing injection. John said, I think we should do that because people are dying here and they're not supposed to die that way.
I'm here with John. He and Moise were two of the co-founders of Hope. John, tell me, how did this come into being?
Moses and I were evangelists and church planters. We weren't thinking of health, but we would take people to the hospital and they would die. So we thought, we can do something better.
More than just trying to meet people's physical, medical needs, you're also trying to meet their spiritual needs. How is Hope Clinic outreaching to people in the community?
We have a preaching, or we speak the word of God to people, and the nurses will pray with them after each treatment.
Yeah, I saw the Jesus film playing in the waiting room while they're waiting for their medicine. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm proud that our Guinean leadership preach and proclaim Jesus, that our staff wants to do that and are committed to do that, that it's not an outside push.
So I heard a great story of one of the nurses and her neighbors came to Christ through Hope. How did that happen?
The little boy who had a chronic disease, she encouraged them, and I think she paid for them, to come to the clinic. They got treatment, and because of that contact, the mom and dad got saved, and now the whole family's coming to church.
Hope was growing, found success, it was even self-sustaining. But then something began to change.
Well, the first thing that happened, and many people have known about, is Ebola.
So since Ebola arrived in this part of Guinea, how has that affected the clinic?
Well, for the first few months, we continued to treat a lot of people, and we were going to have a record year. Then when a suspected case arrived, the staff decided they wanted to close because they did not feel prepared to deal with Ebola patients.
Eventually, the Ebola epidemic became so dangerous that they had to close the clinic for 6 months. Ebola is kind of leveled off and the clinic is reopened. Have all the patients been returning? What does that look like?
People are afraid to come to the clinics, and the clinics are kind of afraid to serve people. So the patient levels have dropped off dramatically.
All of this tragedy paved the way for the death of Moses, which would rock the clinic to its core.
The second disaster that happened to us was my friend Moses' mommy was murdered. It was a tough year last year. Yeah. He was actually using that car, going out to villages, informing people about what Ebola is and how to prevent it. They were giving soap and they were giving Clorox and giving them ideas on how to wash their hands and how to not touch dead bodies when the crowd came and stoned them and killed them.
How has the murder of Moses affected Hope and the staff here?
Our resolve to carry out the mission of Hope has gotten stronger. We are determined that Hope should be a place of evangelistic outreach and compassionate medical care. But yeah, it was a blow. I was real angry, but I'm okay now. I used to call this my child, but it's not my child, it's God's child. So He will show up and help us because He's the God of compassion. I know He's behind us, but all these blows, we need prayer support. We need God to show up and help us. This is my 30th year in Africa. The short-term teams are good. They have helped us immensely, but there is a great value in long-term missionaries that speak the language, that know the culture. We need people to come to the harvest field. The labors are few, and the harvest is huge.
Not only had Hope Clinic found success in healing people's bodies, but in healing their spirits as well. A massive amount of people were coming to have their life changed radically by Jesus. And it seems like that made the enemy mad. It was like the enemy was flanking and hitting from behind with a surprise attack. But now that we're not surprised anymore, we can respond by raising this place up in prayer. We have more power than the devil and all his legions combined. Together, we can help this place get back on its feet, back doing the work of Jesus Christ.
We can heal people spiritually, and we can also help people to be healed physically. But we cannot do this without God's help.